Good morning, happy Thursday. Another training I got scheduled here. Kind of slept in this morning. It's kind of nice. But they saw the forecast the other day. It's going to be another month or so of warm temperatures, which, for all intents and purposes, it's nice. Keep things warm around here to melt all that snow out of the mountains. I do want to get at least a couple more hikes, and I do have the enchantments next weekend. Next Friday I'll be heading up Thursday night, and then waking up around 3 in the morning, taking my headlamp out and doing the through hike of the enchantments, which, and like I said yesterday, I need to redeem myself on this one because last year it kicked my ass, and so that's not going to happen again. I'm going to make sure of it. The big thing I need to work on is just electrolytes and fluids and my blisters. Other than that, things should be good. Mariners kind of came around last night. I didn't think that, they had the lead, and they gave it up, and they're losing 6-5, and then all of a sudden they just went, or 4-5, and they just took off. They scored 5 in the 7th, I think, and yeah, they're clicking. But like they said on the radio, it's like the Mariners, it's hit and miss. It's like one day they're just hitting and like they rarely score one run. It's they score it in floods and waves of runs and hits, and then when nobody's hitting, they're not getting anything done. And so it just seems like that seems to be the thing for them this season. I don't know. I hope that Cano's okay. I know he hit a double and came up limping after running first. I think they said it was a hammy or an ankle. I can't remember. But this is I just want to see if the Mariners make the postseason. I would have considered this season slightly disappointing, but at the same time successful, because that was their goal at the beginning of the year, was playoffs or bust. And so they make the playoffs. That was your goal. You may have set the bar. I mean, just to make the playoffs would be an achievement in itself, especially for the city of Seattle. But I mean, realistically, your goal, we're gonna win the whole thing. World Series done. But this year has become sort of just, let's just stay healthy. Let's just do what we can with what we have. Let's duct tape things together, and if we can make the playoffs, we'll at least have a chance. And that's realistically, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think like in the NFL playoffs, as long as you get in, you have a chance. Especially, I think baseball is more so. That's the case with baseball because, the best team in baseball doesn't really win the World Series, and statistics have shown that over the years. So, we'll see. I just have really high hopes for this team. I'm always optimistic about them. I love watching I love the fact that it's September almost, and I'm still watching baseball with the anticipation of something can happen. It's not, in the last like 10 years, it's been, this point in the season, it's like the Mariners are already out of it, and so now they're bringing up all their AAA guys, and they're moving AA's up to AAA, and they're resting guys, and now it's like they're still in it, and it's exciting, and football's here, and we're still talking about the Mariners, and so that's what I love to see. The fact that when football season comes around, it's usually, because the Seahawks have been so good over the years, it's just everyone's like, oh, when's football here? Great, now we can quit worrying about baseball. No, now we're still focusing on baseball, and football is here too as well. So so that's that in a nutshell for baseball. I'm glad to see we're still in it. But I wanted to talk about yesterday's story, depression and addiction. I didn't know Jeff as well as a lot of people did. In fact, we were Facebook friends. But I saw the progression of the photos over the years. And, 10 years ago, he looked like Jeff from high school. And then, photos taken in the last 4 years, you started seeing sort of a change. That just took a little bit of investigation. I didn't really, I just looked through some photos that people had of him, and, seeing that, you notice a change. You can see it. I wasn't there personally, there to present there to witness it in person, but you can see it in the photos. And I deal with that at work. I deal with people changing. There's people come in, they've got their lives, they're excited. They're wanting to do something, and then you start to see these changes. The attendance starts getting affected, motivation, their work ethic, uniform, and just everything starts to slip. And it's one thing after the other, and it's one excuse after the other, and it's just from a professional standpoint, it's disappointing because you want to see people succeed. But from a personal standpoint, I have to say that would be heartbreaking. I have kind of gone through that with one of my siblings, and it was heartbreaking. But at the same time, just because that happened and where we are today, you get to see that much more growth. And so it's been a pleasure seeing those past wrongs being corrected. And there's still room for improvement, of course, but they're doing much better today, keeping their nose clean, being an integral part of the family, so it's good because you see that growth. But when you see something that's already functioning really well, a really well put together thing, and then all of a sudden it falls apart, and then you see the heartbreak and the disappointment and the what could have we done differently attitude, and how could I have helped? I should have done something. But there comes a point when you have to allow people you can't force them to change. Ultimately you have to be the person, be a great person overall, and live your life truthfully. And people might gravitate towards that. Some people might not. Some people see that. Other people are succeeding, and that's one of the downfalls of Facebook. I think is that nobody posts negative stuff on there. Some people do, but not a lot of people don't. Someone's going through a divorce or in a marriage where one or both parties say they don't love each other, and then the next thing they do, they post more family pictures. And from the outside, it looks like everything's peachy keen, everything's fine, but you get down to the nitty gritty of it. It's a depressing, sad marriage, business relationship, but there's no love. There's nothing there. And Facebook itself is just, you can even throw Instagram in there because it's photos and a little bit of words, but you see photos of people being happy, but realistically you don't know what's going on inside. And so from the outside you can see, if you see outside changes, you kind of worry about what's going on internally. And then when you don't see anything is when the internally kind of comes out of nowhere. And I've been there to witness a downfall on both sides. And but like I said, it came around and everything worked out. But I just hope that Jeff's family is not blaming themselves for this, and remembering the good times that they had with him, the memories and the smiles, because he was a good-looking guy. He smiled a lot. He had a sense of humor. He had a good sense. He was a guy, but just not to blame yourselves. And it's tough to be in that position. I can't empathize with it, and you shouldn't. You can't say, oh well, I know what you're going through. No, you don't. Every situation's different, especially when you're dealing with a loss of someone with so much potential and young, youth, so full of life, and to have it go away and to just gone. It, you can't say I know what you've been through because you can't. So we have no idea what his family's going through, but I just hope that they get through this, they become closer, and they remember the good times, and not reflect on what happened in the past and what they could have done differently, because it's just unfortunate the way things worked out, but it's just that's just what happened. I really wish I would have ran into him after high school, but he, just went different paths. We went down different routes in life. I had my 20s and he had his 20s, and once we hit 30, it's like I started to come into my own, and from just like looking and following over his life and photos and stuff, it kind of looks like his is sort of taking a turn in the other direction, which is unfortunate and sad. But man, Jeff, rest in peace, buddy. And I hope that you found the peace and the end of the pain that you were living through and going through, and that that I hope that, I don't know how people's beliefs are, but I just think that, I'm not sure if I believe in an afterlife or not. I believe in a God, creator and all that, but I don't know about the afterlife. I would like to believe, I'm hopeful that there is one, because I like to believe that, my grandparents are still here, and other people that I've loved and cared for in my life are still around me, keeping a look after me, but, nobody knows really. But if there is that chance, I hope that he's around here and he can hear me, and that if there isn't, I hope that, his life ended the way that he saw it, and, he was, his suffering's over. So, I've had another friend commit suicide back in 2011, and, that one was a huge shock too, but I'll elaborate on that at a different time. But Jeff, rest in peace, buddy. Class of 99, mourns your loss, and we will always remember your smile, your laugh, and your sense of humor, and just for who you were and not for who you became. So until we meet again, I'll see you later, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning.